Welcome back to Esports News UK in partnership with GGBet. Today I'm joined by a 4-time major winner. dev1ce is with me today. How are you doing so far? You all good?
Good, thank you. Yeah, enjoying London. It's been nice so far.
Good, and last time you played in London, 2019 at the UCS finals, so have you missed it? Do you enjoy the UK?
Yeah, it's actually been 5 years. Yeah, I've been here a lot of times. Yeah, I go to watch football sometimes. Haven't been in a few years, but yeah, it's nice. I like it.
So you've won all the accomplishments that we already went over, major MVP, one of the best players of all time. But you've made possibly the hardest decision now to become an IGL, a late stage in your career, 28 years old. What's been the biggest struggle so far?
Honestly, I don't think there's been that much struggle. I think for me, it's more challenging than struggling. I think that the hardest part or the hardest challenge is to manage your time and to keep up with your individual training while also taking the necessary responsibility for how you play in game. And yeah, managing that is a little bit harder than what I expected. Other than that, I think that yeah, we've been pretty content with our first few tournaments here, a few semifinals, and now we just have to push and try to get to the final and perhaps win one.
Absolutely, and speaking of those semi-final exits, a few in a row, which obviously we've got to talk about.
Yeah.
It's only been 3 days since the Mongols lost, but have you been able to sort of find that missing piece yet?
I mean, we've been looking at the games, me and Ruga. It was a triple overtime loss in map 3. I think sometimes that's just down to the smallest margins, and that's just how it is in CS and in sports in general. So yeah, I mean that a lot of things we could have done better for sure in that game, but I think we also pressured them to the max, and yeah, unfortunately we didn't get the win. We had our chances, and that's just how it is sometimes.
No, fair enough. And you've had plenty of iconic IGLs at Astralis. You've had Glaive's Astralis, Blamef's Astralis. What makes dev1ce's Astralis? What is it that you're trying to do differently? Is there maybe one part of the tactics or the play style that makes you stand out?
I mean, we do things very differently than a lot of teams right now. I think that, yeah, on some maps we play really fast-paced, and yeah, it's we have a philosophy on how we play the maps. Of course, I'm not going to go into it too much, but yeah, I think that we have a pretty set in the stone way we want to play, and I think what sets us apart is that we are also a really young team. I think that everyone on the team is really young and really hungry. In game-wise, not going into details, I would just say that yeah, we're one of the teams that play maybe a little bit more fast-paced than some of the other top teams.
And you spoke to a different outlet before about how you're trying to rebuild the tactics from the ground up. What do you and Ruga do differently to what you did before, but also how much freedom do you have to try and play your way?
First of all, I have all the freedom I want. I think everyone is just tapping into what I say. Nobody has ever said no, which is crazy good. I think I'll say everything is really nice. They have a lot of trust in me, my teammates. I think that when we started, we just had to throw everything in the bin and then just started looking at the map and the philosophies and not just looking at strategies. So you look at ways you want to manipulate the map and what you want to create, what kind of duels and opportunities do you want to create throughout the map, and what kind of solutions do you have to what the opponents throw at you, and then yeah, you build it up with your playbook. That's just how I think most of the teams do it when they have time. Usually you don't have the luxury of time, so you just have to jump straight into the strategical tactical rounds you have. But yeah.
And speaking of football earlier on, we'll bring it back to that conversation. Is there someone in the world of football you compare yourself to, a manager maybe, that's got the same sort of style as you?
Honestly, no. I think that the Tottenham managers also really takes a lot of chances and plays aggressively. I think we do the same, and you have to really learn to play that style to create the right situations. I think maybe, but no, I don't really compare it. I think it's such a different game, but yeah, if I had to do a comparison, it would be this guy. I think he's called Ange.
Perfect, yeah, perfect pronunciation. Moving away from you as an IGL then, we've seen some changes to the Shanghai Major where open qualifiers in Europe and North America are being scrapped. They're not being played anymore. Yeah. As a player, you haven't really had to go through so many open qualifiers, but what's your thoughts on that change?
I think it's a little bit weird. I think that Valve maybe have been trying to open up the circuit with removing the partnership teams and all of that. And then they're also trying to close the circuit with not having the open qualifiers. So honestly, don't really know what they're trying to do. I think it's a bit... it doesn't connect too well. Like, you want to have an open circuit, but then you remove the qualifiers. So yeah, it's not good, I would say. So, but as you said, maybe it won't hurt us, but it will definitely hurt the teams that are living off of qualifying for the major.
And finally then, just briefly, any more thoughts you want to add to the people?
No, other than thanks for the support. I always tell that to you guys, and hopefully you can see an uprise and potential in the squad right now.
Well, thank you very much for your time. We'll be providing coverage all weekend, so stay tuned to Esports News UK.